Happy hump day. Make it a quick one. I don't know what time it is. Wife should be home any minute. Boo is done. I have test flown it. I believe it or not, test flight. Not that they all aren't epic when you build something and it flies. It's a phenomenal feeling. But I did no tuning to this thing. The only thing that was the same is I put a receiver that was in the original Boo into this, so I didn't have to bind. And then switches were kind of like the low throttle value. So new people, I gotta forget that I'm talking, and some people don't understand. When you arm the quad, you flick a switch, and if you fly what's called air mode, the motor starts spinning at a certain RPM, and that is used for when you flip and roll. You actually dethrottle all the way down. So when you're upside down, if the motors weren't spinning, it would just lose itself and fall all the way to the ground. It won't arm, aka turn on air mode, air flying, whatever the hell you want to call it, unless your throttle value is below the threshold. So if you set it at 1100, you want 1090, 1080, and it'll allow it to arm. So that was the only thing that was kind of the same. It was a little bit of a challenge because of, believe it or not, cramped space. The stack I got has a humongous capacitor, which if you look above the red wires there, you'll see the capacitor, and my VTX is actually sticking to the top of it. What made this a little more challenging is I went with the baby turtle in here to eliminate, just like I did on the other one, but I had the bigger turtle. I wanted to go with an all-in-one because it saves weight, flight times. So that's where I'm going. I forgot to set my OSD on it before I flew, so I was kind of flying blind. The CATX stuff's coming up, but it's saying 5 volt because that's where it's wired. I gotta turn all that off, but I didn't have my OSD. I was going based on just the beeper setting that was preset and just stick control. So I kept coming in, feeling the motors and checking it, and at the end it shows the total voltage. I ended up doing, and I stopped twice, which was just a few seconds, but I got 7.5 minutes and still came down at 3.74 volts. So this thing will do 8 minutes. Mind you, I am running a brick of a battery, so some of you will question my thoughts on that, but Boo flew on the 1500 milliamp China line battery. So I said, it will fly. Why wouldn't it fly? Same type of stuff. Mind you, the thing weighs as much as the quad does. It sits on there. It looks like that. But you would not know that that battery was on it based on performance. These motors never got beat on before because it was in a Cinewhoop. These motors rip ass. And not in the stinky way, as in badass. I did a couple just quick rips, up and down the street, and my camera angle, I left it at this angle for the cinematic flying that this is going to do. But I wanted to see speed. It literally was like this. I was looking at the freaking ground, and it got there super quickly. I was super, super amazed. Can I say super one more time? Super! It was epic. The power is there. The flight time is there. Video quality. It's CATX, so you got a split camera, so you're going to compromise a little bit of your quality. And for the new people, this camera is what they call a split. My FPV feed that I see in my goggles that's transmitted out of this dongle, the antenna, is just a little grainier, kind of whitewashed versus a regular one because it's also recording on, is it this side or that side? I don't even know. Where is it? There it is. You can't see it. It's hard to see. There's an SD card that goes in here, and it records 1080p at 60 frames a second. So you get super high quality without the GoPro. Not as good as GoPro, but good. I can put my Insta360 on here and get stabilized if I want for the shot. I'd love to work with them for putting like a cover over the lens for an ND filter, or swap lenses. I got some scratches on mine that I have now figured out. But I use the race lights, the Flywoo ones, so these light up white. The more throttle you get, the brighter they get. I pre-wired in the LED that comes with it, so you got 2 chips back here, and I programmed them, one green, one blue, and they kind of flash back and forth, so it'll stand out while flying around. I use the actual holes in the little part of the plastic hard thing here to get the antennas out of the way. My challenge with this was the VTX. Usually my VTX goes upside down right here. That's kind of like my going thing. That is where the receiver is. Didn't have anywhere else. I felt comfortable putting the receiver because I wanted to actually use the holes. I could have run it maybe down in the bottom, but then I would have wasted those holes and they would have come out the top. Yeah, maybe it'd work. But I put and glued and going to add a small zip tie to the VTX, which is on top of the capacitor, which will be safe. It'll be fine. It's not going anywhere because you have other components next to the capacitor. A little bit of hot glue over the antenna so it can't get banged loose, and then just kind of custom bent it, and it goes up. Hi, Zoe. So hold on a second, I'm making a video. So yeah, it's coming out the top. It's safe. I may mess with it just a little bit more. I did something different with the wires. You got black in the back, red in the front, kind of like a header setup. I'm kind of mad. Yeah, I mean, I'm being picky with the wires, but I mean, they're clean. It looks really good. And they're sort of out of the way. I have my plug here for the cadex, so I can go in and shut off all the cadex OSD crap. And I'll try different props. I actually have a universal duck. Let me close the door. Hold on a second. I have some universal ducks that I could throw on if I wanted to, and it wouldn't affect any of the wires and stuff because you actually would lift this up, sit the duck down, and screw through it. So we'll see. This thing's got a lot of potential. So Boo is back, reincarnated. Maybe I'll call it the Boo Boo. I don't know. Yeah, so stay tuned. And I just finished while farting around. See how this one flies. I put the ant in Booger, which I haven't unpacked yet and haven't even flown. But I ended up getting one because I wanted to swap the canopy on the Mobulus 6 OJ, the Gap Killer. And I used the rubber one first, which is probably a little bit heavier. So we'll see how it flies. I know the camera is going to be awesome. And I have 2 other canopies. Maybe I'll put it out there. So put a vote. Everybody that watches this, please vote. I don't know what material it is. It's hard. It will fall. If it hits hard enough, it would explode. But they're easy enough to make. So this one's rubbery and heavier. But then I have the black and the orange one. I know the orange doesn't match. And if you're picky like me, that could be a stickler. But I have the orange and the black. And I'm definitely leaning towards swapping it to this over keeping the rubber. Just for weight purposes and hopefully it flying good. So let me know which one you like or what you would like to see on here, and I will swap it out. I'll fly it, see how it flies, see if it affects the flight times a hell of a whole lot, and go from there. But as you can hear, Mama's home, so I